Hey y'all, it's Arya. Fresh home from the Invitational in beautiful Somerset, New Jersey. Anyone who's ever been to Somerset, New Jersey knows exactly how beautiful that place is. Where I got lucky enough to 8-0 the modern portion with a build that, I mean, pretty much this deck. I've changed some sideboard cards, but like I went 8-0 with this deck. It's red white burn. I've been playing. As you guys may remember, I've been playing like Naya and Mardu, both trying like, Gurmag Anglers and Bump in the Night, and on the other end trying, Wild Nicoddles and a Tarkus Command. But different parts of the meta are good for different times in the meta are good for different builds of burn. And I think right now with Dredge running around as popular as it is, most of my matchups have turned into pretty much races. Uh, the only difference in the deck I've played in the Invitational and the one I'm playing now is I've added the Wear and Tear and two Helixes for two Searing Bloods and a Deflecting Palm. I'll get to the sideboard soon. So we're pretty much two colors. I mean, not pretty much. We are two colors. Only 6 mana producing lands and 13 fetch lands. Being two colors is great. We can fetch for monocolor lands pretty much almost all the time. Life total is never too bad. Remembering that against Scape Shift, never to go below like 18, unless we have like Helixes to bring our health back up. There's matchups where there's every matchup where your life total matters now. So we are playing a Shard Volley over a 20th land. I keep I don't know, 20 lands. I flood a lot. I didn't want to play the 20th land. I've heard a suggestion cards like Horizon Canopy as the 20th land, because even you cast your Helixes and your Boros Charms, and when it doesn't do anything, it draws a card still. If we were Naya, I'd probably make a closer consideration to that. It also casts Nikadal and stuff, and your Tarkus commands. But I really like Shard Volley. It's not free because sacking the land definitely comes up as a cost from time to time, but yeah, I don't want to clog up with another two, because if I ever lose some of these racing matchups, like against Scapeshifter Affinity, it's because I have too many twos clogging up in my hand. As far as the creature suite goes, we're playing the 4 Guide, 4 Swift Spear, 4 Eidolon. We're playing 2 Grim Lavamancer. For boarding this card out is pretty much whenever you don't think you're going to be targeting a creature, you're not likely to target a creature with your Grim Lavamancer, you should probably board it out. Otherwise, it's pretty great. I also leave it in against Tarmogoyfs, or at least one in against Tarmogoyfs. The usual suspects: Spike, Bolt, Rift Bolt. Playing 4 Skullcracks main deck. There's life gain out there, people playing Kitchen Finks. There's a lot of reasons to play Skullcrack. The thing you have to watch out for, though, with our deck is you shouldn't Skullcrack before you cast Lightning Helix, because you won't gain any life. You'd be pretty sad. Playing 4 Searing Blazes main deck. This card's insane. Its card advantage is 6 points. I mean, everyone knows what Searing Blaze does. We're playing 13 fetch lands to turn it on. Boros Charm's the best burn spell they ever printed. 2 Lightning Helix main. The advantage of being 2 colors, we don't pay a lot of life, and we also get to play this card main deck, which is awesome. Really just is a trump in a lot of the situations. Our sideboard is what I was really excited to get to. So I didn't really have a way to beat white Leyline, Leyline of Serenity, Sanctity, Leyline of Sanctity. Had no way to beat it. My thoughts were people are going to be playing like black Leyline for the Dredge deck, and people still got to dedicate slots to affinities, so no one's really going to put a lot of white ley lines in their sideboards to specifically pigeonhole hate against burn. I would say of all of the decks to be afraid of, that's out there, I think burn is the one that people are the least afraid of and are most likely to cut sideboard hate for, because there's so many things that incidentally hate on burn that they just count on that. They'll play 4 Scavenging Oozes in their 75 and think that's good against Dredge and burn, when in reality Scavenging Ooze is way too slow against us. So Flames against life gain decks, blue decks. Molten Rain. So I actually bring it in every time I'm on the play, because the curve Eidolon into Molten Rain means that they'll have 1 land in play against your Eidolon, and your Eidolon is definitely going to get at least 2 more points of damage and at least 1 attack in. So it's turning your Eidolon into 6 points if you get to curve out that way. Now, there's not a lot of times that's going to happen, but it is like the nut draw, and there's not really a lot of decks that can come back from that. I think like Affinity would be the only deck that can come back from that. Um, I and that's not by like a great margin either. Um, let's see. And this also obviously comes in against the Banteldrazi and the Tron decks if those still exist. Banteldrazi's definitely been picking up in popularity. A couple copies made top 8 of the Somerset Modern Open, one of which was my friend Michael Siegel. Shout out. Yeah, Path to Exile. We're down to 3. It's like a highly reactive card. Every time I board it in and I draw it, I find myself just not... I want it to be like a burn spell. So me playing 3 is a way to keep myself from playing all 4 of them, so I don't end up flooding on Path to Exiles. So in this spot, I used to have Searing Bloods. I like Helixes. I'm testing out these Helixes for now. Searing Blood pretty much got countered by Mutagenic Growth a lot, and that card has definitely been picking up in popularity. And just the clause of the creature having to die for them to take any damage is pretty backbreaking. Like Spellskite is is not going to die from just a Searing Blood, and yeah, there's a lot of situations where I just really don't. I'd rather my Searing Blood any other spell. And this Wear and Tear could be literally anything. Wear and Tear has just so much value, so much utility. It's pretty much like a 15th like flexible sideboard hate card. In this slot, I've played cards like Rest in Peace, which I wouldn't now because of Grim Lawmancer, and I've played Cage for those, the Dredge deck and the Nahiri decks. I've played Deflecting Palm here, and when Zoo's Death Shadow Zoo and Infect and Primeval Titans are running around. It's also pretty good against Tarmogoyfs. It's just like a universal hate slot. I've definitely seen somebody play Relic in this slot. There was even a point where I played Pyrite Spellbomb to try to kill all the pro reds and the pro all colors things. This 15th slot could really just be any universal hate card for any matchup that you're specifically trying to target. I found myself pretty cold to White Leyline. Boggles is a miserable matchup, and Affinity is still one of our worst matchups, so I think Wear and Tear will hopefully be a good fit. So a plan that we have in our sideboard games, obviously we bring in the burn spells when they're good in like their specific matchups, like blue decks you obviously want Firecraft, and like green-white decks you obviously want Flames. But against the Grixis decks, the Jund decks, and the Abzan decks, pretty much anyone interested in sideboarding in removal to beat us and not life gain. They're boarding in like, Disfigures, or they're leaving in their Terminates, or anyone who you think will be trying to kill you by interacting with you as much as possible. You're going to board out these 4 guides, and these guys, and these guys. Pretty much all of your guys come out for every burn spell. So what's going to happen is, I gotta remember not to save this. We're going to put these things in, and we're going to take these things out. Lopsided. Okay. Against Tarmogoyf. Paths. Sorry. So like I said, against Tarmogoyfs, I've kind of like to leave one Grim Lavamancer in as well. If they have like, if they're like blue-red Delver or something, Grim Lavamancer has definitely been known to stay in that matchup as well, because I do find myself targeting that creature from time to time. But this is what my deck looks like post sideboard in the matchups where they're interested in killing my guys. I take out all of my guys and just try to kill them with burn spells off the top. Recently against the finalist, the Invitational, JD not Copernicus. God, I'm gonna kill myself. I can't remember her name right now. Anyway, she's really good. She was playing Jund. Clompernus? Dang it! I feel terrible. Clompernus? I thought I knew her name. I swear I did. Anyway, against like her, I had she plussed her Liliana 3 times, discarding a Slaughter Pact, a Terminate, and Abrupt Decay, and I just didn't have any creatures in my deck, so it was one of those. A lot of people can get got, air quotes, by you not having what they're counting on you to have. Like, discard is the only way that they can interact with you, and if they're like Grixis, then discard and counterspells are the only way they can interact with you, and you're turning off all the removal. Yeah, this deck has been pretty good for me. People are shaving hate more now than they used to be. I think that's just because Dredge is becoming popular, and that's picking up and Affinity's picking up in popularity, and people are just trying to, and Poison's picking up in popularity, so people are trying to hedge their bets against that. And Red's not really like sexy or new. It's been around. Everyone knows Goblin God. Lightning Bolt is a thing, and a lot of people are just hoping they don't play against it. Death Shadow Zoo is definitely coming up in popularity a lot more, and people just sink in their chair when they figure out you're on a Goblin God deck. So yeah, I would highly recommend this deck for the GP coming up in Indianapolis, I believe it is. I'll probably be slinging this deck there. I'm gonna run this deck through a league. It's gonna be a pretty good league in my opinion, or in my feeling. I think people on Moto are not very prepared for Burn. I've been staring at a lot of 5-0 decks recently on the Magic Online, MTG Goldfish, and Wizard site. Everyone seems to be cutting their Burn hate, at least the 5-0 decks are. So, I'm pretty excited to play against some people who have cut the hate for me. So, yeah, we're going to get in this league, and we'll be right back for round 1.